Imagine checking your bank statement in late October or early November. You see a number that just doesn't make sense. You're looking at your balance and wondering where all the money went. Most people will have totally forgotten what started the problem by then. But the truth is, the most expensive thing to happen to your wallet actually started months ago. It isn't just a metaphor, it is a very real timeline. It all began with a military strike that triggered 5 different economic shocks. These shocks are moving toward your bank account right now. Each one is bigger than the last. Each one is disguised as something else. Welcome to the channel. I'm Siraz Patwari. I am so glad you are here. If you want to stay ahead of these waves, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are going to break this down so you can protect your family. Right now, most people are just looking at the sign at the gas station. They think it's just an annoying price hike. They file it under manageable and move on with their day. But that is a huge mistake. The cost of getting this wrong isn't some big dramatic explosion. It is quiet. It's a grocery bill that keeps going up for no reason. It's a summer flight that suddenly costs twice as much. It is a mortgage rate that stays high when you thought it would drop. It is a credit card balance that just won't go away. Think about what happened on February 28th. A massive military operation was launched. The timing was strange because it happened right during peace talks. Historians will argue about that forever, but we have a bigger problem. We have to deal with what happened next. Within weeks, the Strait of Hormuz was effectively closed. This is a tiny 21-mile bottleneck, but it carries 20% of the world's oil. Usually, about 130 ships pass through there every single day. Suddenly, that number dropped to almost zero. The world has never seen a supply disruption this big. It was bigger than the shocks of the 1970s combined. The government even had to release 400 million barrels of oil from emergency reserves. That isn't just a small tweak, that is a total emergency move. Oil prices shot up from $71 a barrel to nearly $120 in just a few weeks. Even if things calm down, analysts think $150 is possible if it drags on. That gas price you see? The national average jumping from under $3 to nearly $4? That is just the first wave. But there are 4 more rolling toward you. They are all hidden. To make this real, let's look at 2 different families. We have Maya, a teacher making $58,000. She has a little bit of savings and invests $200 a month. Then we have Ryan and Jess. They make $94,000 together, but they have more debt and less savings. They both live in the same city and buy the same food. But they are going to have 2 completely different years. Not because of luck, but because of what they do right now. Let's talk about that first wave, which is gas. You can see it already. In some places, it's over $5 a gallon. But the real danger isn't the gas you put in your car, it's the diesel. Diesel is what moves everything you buy. It powers the big trucks, the farm equipment, and the ships. When diesel goes up, the price of everything those trucks carry goes up too. Every time gas goes up by $1, it sucks $150 billion out of the economy. The average household is looking at an extra $750 in fuel costs this year. For Maya, that's about $50 more a month for her commute. She decided to stop buying her daily expensive coffee to balance it out. She's okay with that, but Ryan and Jess haven't changed anything. It feels manageable to them for now. But the problem is that this isn't happening alone. Have you ever checked your bank account on a Thursday and realized it's lower than it should be? You do the math in your head and it doesn't add up. You feel like money is just moving faster than it used to. That's not paranoia. That is the first wave working in the background. Now, the second wave is groceries. This hits about 30 to 60 days after the first shock. It is already moving, even if you can't see the price tags changing yet. Diesel doesn't just move cars, it moves food. You can't just put strawberries in a warehouse for 6 months and wait for prices to drop. They have to move now. When diesel goes up, shipping companies pass those costs to the stores within weeks. Before all this, food prices were already rising. Now, economists think inflation will climb even higher. Beef, coffee, and sugar were already getting expensive. Now, add a 40% spike in diesel on top of that. Stores will try to hold the prices for a bit, but they can't do it forever. Maya saw this coming. She started cooking in batches and canceled her expensive meal kit service. She should have done that a year ago, honestly. But for Ryan and Jess, this wave will be a total mystery. They will stand at the checkout in May and wonder why they are paying $50 more for the same food. They aren't buying more food. They are just paying for a military operation thousands of miles away that they had no say in. That is how the global supply chain works. It's great until it breaks. The third wave is fertilizer. This is the one almost nobody is talking about. It is like an invisible timer set for October. Most people don't realize that natural gas is the main ingredient for fertilizer. It accounts for 70 to 90% of the cost, and a huge chunk of the world's fertilizer moves through that same closed shipping lane. Within a week of the conflict, prices for fertilizer jumped 50% in some places. Here's the scary part. Farmers are making planting decisions right now. What they do this month determines what we eat in the fall. You won't feel this wave in the spring. You will feel it in October, when you are standing in the produce aisle. You will think you are just bad at budgeting, but nobody is going to have a press conference to tell you why your fruit is missing or double the price. It just happens quietly. Maya is already looking for a freezer to stock up, but for Ryan and Jess, this will hit them out of nowhere in the fall. They will tell their friends that groceries are crazy, and their friends will agree, but none of them will know why. The first three waves hit everyone. It doesn't matter how much money you make, but waves 4 and 5 are where the gap really opens up. This is where the people who prepared pull ahead of the people who didn't. Wave 4 is airfare. Your summer vacation is already getting more expensive. Jet fuel prices shot up by 60%. Fuel is the biggest expense for airlines. They aren't going to just eat that cost. They are going to pass it to you. Some analysts think fares will go up by 30% this summer. Even low-cost airlines are seeing huge jumps. The thing about airlines is they plan their fuel costs months ahead, so those high prices won't go down quickly, even if oil prices drop tomorrow. Maya called her mom and booked her July flight immediately. She got a good deal, but Ryan and Jess have been meaning to look into it since December. They are going to have a very bad time when they finally try to book those tickets. Wave 5 is the biggest one. It's interest rates. This is the one that costs you the most because it doesn't show up as a single bill. It shows up as an interest rate that refuses to go down. At the start of the year, everyone expected the Federal Reserve to cut rates. Everyone wanted cheaper mortgages and lower credit card interest. But that dream is basically dead now. High oil prices push inflation up. But they also make people spend less. This puts the Fed in a terrible spot. It's like a doctor whose only 2 medicines cause the very side effect they are trying to treat. What does this mean for you? Mortgage rates are staying high. Credit card interest is stuck at 20 or 24%. Most Americans are carrying a ton of credit card debt at those crazy rates. Maya is frustrated, but she has savings earning 4% interest. She has no credit card debt. She is ready to wait. But Ryan and Jess have thousands in credit card debt at 22%. That debt just got much harder to pay off. The window to fix their situation is getting smaller every day. Here is where most people lose the most money. Research shows that many investors actually do worse than the market. Why? Because they sell when things get scary and buy back in only after things are expensive again. That sounds crazy, but people have been doing it for decades. Right now, doing that would be a huge mistake. Most of the best trading days happen right in the middle of the worst times. The recovery doesn't happen slowly. It happens in huge, fast jumps right next to the crashes. If you missed just the 10 best days in each decade, your returns would be tiny compared to what they could have been. Your brain is wired to feel fear when you see a loss, but you have to fight that instinct. Maya's investments are down right now, but she just closed the app and went back to her cooking. Ryan looked at his retirement account, felt sick, and hasn't looked at it since. They will both be fine in 10 years, unless Ryan panics and sells everything now. That would lock in a loss he can never get back. So, what can you actually do? First, your emergency fund needs to be bigger. It needs to be in a high-yield account earning real interest. Almost half of people can't handle a $1,000 emergency without debt. When your car breaks down while everything else is expensive, that is a disaster. High-yield savings accounts are paying 10 times more than regular banks right now. There is no reason not to move your money today. Second, if you have credit card debt, treat it like a house fire. Paying off a 22% card is the same as getting a guaranteed 22% return on your money. You can't find that anywhere else. Third, do not stop your investments. The shares you buy when things are volatile are usually the best ones you will ever own. People who quit in 2020 missed the fastest recovery ever. Don't be that person. Set it to automatic and walk away. Fourth, if you are traveling this summer, book it today. Not this weekend, today. The price increases haven't fully hit yet. Finally, look at your energy costs. If you have a long commute and a gas guzzler, that math just changed. If you have a small business, check your shipping contracts now before the surcharges hit. We don't know if this conflict will end quickly or drag on for years. But we do know that the families who survive these shocks aren't always the ones who earn the most. They are the ones who saw wave one and realized the storm was coming. Ryan and Jess will be okay, but they will spend the rest of the year wondering why they are broke. Maya adjusted early. She didn't panic. She just paid attention. That is the only difference. It's not luck. It's just starting a little bit earlier than everyone else. Most people will be confused all year. You just spent a few minutes learning exactly why this is happening. The only question now is, what are you going to do about it?